Hi ladies, it's Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. So today's Tuesday. It's a short week this week because of the 4th of July being on Thursday. So that's really great. My husband has Wednesdays off work, so he'll be off tomorrow. Then he's off on the 4th of July, and then he's also off on Friday, and we're gonna go boating that day. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to have some time off with him where we're not really on vacation or anything like that, but we'll get to bum around and hang out together. And then all my kids, except my daughter who lives in South Carolina, will be with us on Friday on the boat, and some of my nephews and some of my in-laws, and that'll be a lot of fun. So I hope that you have fun plans for the weekend, the long weekend. And so I had talked to you in my last video about doing a NARS Get Ready With Me using the All That Glistens face palette and eyeshadow palette and all my NARS makeup, which I love so much. But I did explain to you guys that you can't get those palettes anymore. You can get the cheek palette on the NARS website, and it's on sale right now, and it's really pretty. But you can't get the eyeshadow palette anymore. And I've also been in a makeup rut. I've been using that makeup every single day for a few weeks. And so I was gonna go ahead and do a makeup look using that makeup, but I decided to change my mind because number one, you can't get the makeup. But number two, I'm in a makeup rut. So I wanna try some other things here with you. And some of these things I've had in my collection, most of them, a few things are newer to me. And I'm gonna share this makeup look with you. It's all drugstore, and it's really affordable drugstore. It's mostly NYX. I've got some Maybelline, I've got some L'Oreal, and I think that's it. So if you'd like to see how I got this makeup look, I hope that you will stick around, and let's just jump in and get started. Okay, I have my skincare on, and now I'm gonna apply my foundation, and this is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Foundation. I really like this foundation a lot. It has a soft matte finish. It comes with a pump, glass bottle, so it's a pretty quality product in terms of packaging, and I think in performance as well. And it claims to last 24 hours, and it's humidity resistant and water resistant, may even be what they call waterproof, but I didn't check. I've been using this for years and years as one of my favorite drugstore foundations, and my shade is Fair Ivory, and as you can see, it comes out, and it's like a teensy bit runny, but definitely not watery, and it's breathable, it's lightweight. This color is like my winter color, Fair Ivory. I'm gonna be applying blush and bronzer to add that color back into my skin. Whenever I have a winter color, it's only just like one shade lighter than what I would wear in the summer, so it's really no big deal. And I used to think I needed a summer color and like a winter color, but I definitely do not. I think some people might, especially if you tan really well, and your skin gets a lot darker in the summer months, but that isn't the case for me. So this will be just fine. And I always kind of blend it down my neck too to make sure everything's matching. So next I'm gonna apply this NYX Wonder Stick. I usually do my eyes next, but I wanna get some color on my face just to look healthier while I do the rest of my makeup. So this is a dual-ended like contour bronzer highlight stick. This is a really nice product, and mine is in the lightest shade. It's either fair or light. And so I'm gonna apply the bronzer first. And mine is really light, as you can see, but you know how light I am. So that's what it looks like. And I really like that it's kind of taupey, slightly like light brown taupey gray, if that makes sense, because it makes me look like I'm naturally like just kind of contoured, because that's what shadows would normally look like on my skin. They wouldn't be like sparkly and bronze, and I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm contouring. So I'm putting this in all the places that I would like a little contour. And I'm just going to take this brush and blend it in. This is an IT Cosmetics for Ulta brush. I love this brush. I have the original IT one, which I thought was really expensive, and then they released this one for Ulta, and it's just as good. and you save a lot of money getting the Ulta version. And it is made by It Cosmetics as well. So if you haven't tried this brush, it's a really good brush. And it also has a concealer end to it, which is really nice. And I'm just kind of tapping everything in, not doing as much sweeping. I can use the other side for my nose. And my eyelids. Okay, so I think that looks pretty blended in. If it doesn't, I'll get it on the second round when I blend everything toward the end of this video. I talked about this in my monthly favorites a couple of months ago. There's a bronzer one as well, which is really nice. And I might use that one at the end over the contour just to give me a little more glowiness. But this is the Buttermelt blush, and I'll link my shade below, and that's what that looks like. These are really pigmented, so proceed with caution. Just pick up a little on your brush and then kind of just tap it in, because you'll get way more product than you expect. And it's really nice because it is super pigmented, but it's really long lasting as well. I guess I would kind of compare these, I don't know, to the Tarte 12-hour matte blushes. Those are really nice too. And this is a lot less money, but I feel like they last really long. They're very pigmented and the colors are really pretty. This is the only one I have, but there were other colors that caught my eye too. And as you can see, it left a nice pink flush on my cheeks. And I think I'll go ahead and do the bronzing just a tiny bit with the Buttermelt bronzer. And I'm just gonna use the same brush. I picked up the blush on, and look how pigmented that is. That's just crazy. They're so pigmented. These will last a really long time because they are so pigmented. I'm gonna blend it with this giant bronzer brush that I love so much. I'll link this below because whenever I use it, I always get questions about this brush. And this definitely is a favorite brush, not just for bronzer, but for face powder as well. Okay, next I'm gonna do my eyebrows, and I'm just gonna use the NYX Thick It, Stick It Brow Gel. When this first came out, I really loved it a lot. I still love it a lot, but it's kind of fallen to the wayside. But it is a really good product. You have to have brows to use it though. It has to attach to your eyebrows, your existing eyebrows, and it's like one of those fiber products. And this does come in the shade Auburn, which is so awesome because a lot of shades don't give you an Auburn option, or a lot of brands don't give you an Auburn option. But I was so pleased when I saw that this came in Auburn, and it is a really good product and so easy to use because it's a fiber brow product that also sets your brows, so you don't have to go in with another step. If you like to draw in more brows, then you certainly can do that. I'm just gonna leave them how they are today, even though they can use a little drawing in here or there. I think it's fine. I just really wanna cover up the really light blondes or whites that I have coming in, and this does a really good job of that. And I can work out with this and it won't run. It stays perfectly as I've applied it. So this is a really good product. And then the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using is the Ultimate palette from NYX. And I love this palette. This is one of my absolute favorite drugstore eyeshadow palettes. This is the Ultimate palette, and it's a beautiful palette of mattes and satins. There aren't a lot of super shimmers or glitters. And I think that that's good because anybody could use this palette. I feel like glitters are like fragrance in products. Some people just don't like them and they won't buy a product because it has fragrance. I feel like eyeshadow can be that way too. Some of us just don't like glitters because we wear contact lenses or they irritate our eyes or whatever the case may be. Sometimes even just the fallout of glitters can be annoying. So I like that it doesn't have any, but it does have some really good shimmer shades or satiny shades like this one. And that's about as shimmery or satiny as they get. So it's just a little tiny bit of gleam, which is so pretty. So I'm gonna use this palette, and I haven't really even given any thought to what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my eyeshadow and go wherever the wind blows. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply this satin right here, and it's like a cream satin, and I'm just going to pick that up on a fluffy brush, and I'm going to focus it on my mobile lid, like 3/4 of the way across my mobile lid, just to set my primer and add that brightness that we all like on the inside of our eye. I hope you guys are having a good summer so far. Boy, does it seem like it's going fast. It's going to be the 4th of July on Thursday, and then I feel like summer starts to wind down. I know it really doesn't, but it's definitely like the halfway mark. I'm going to take this shade right here, and it's like a satin, kind of mauve-y champagne, and I'm going to apply that right to the center. Whoops. Of my mobile lid, just to give that a little more dimension. I'm going to blend it in. Okay, I'm going to take this shade right here, and this is a satin as well, not quite as satiny as that one. And I'm going to use this to just build up in my crease and create that gradient effect. And it sort of makes the crease of my eye recess a little bit, being a little bit darker than what I've put onto my eyelids so far. And now I'm going to take this shade right here, and it's sort of like a brick color. And it's not super satiny, but it's not quite matte either. So I'm not sure what you would call that. And I'm just going to put this in the outer corner. I'm going to make a V. And if you've been watching me, you know I don't usually make a V. I usually just kind of blend it in. But I feel like sometimes it just looks a little more crisp when I do try to make that outer V. So I've been doing some reading as usual, and right now I'm reading the book Educated. It's a really good book. I'll link the author in the book down in the description box in case you'd like to check it out. I'm listening to it on Audible, so when I go through my day doing my chores and things like that, I can just listen as I go, and it makes the whole thing a little more pleasant. It's a pretty good book. I really just started it. I'm not even like a quarter of the way through, but so far it's holding my interest. It kind of has a vibe like The Glass Castle, if you've ever read that. Sort of like the same sort of story, but it's different. But it's about somebody who didn't have access to an education. It's a memoir. So it's definitely worth reading if you like those kinds of books. Okay, now I'm going to use the Wet n Wild waterproof liquid eyeliner called Breakup Proof. This is a really good liquid eyeliner. I've purchased this a lot of times because it's a really, really good liquid eyeliner that costs less than high-end brands but performs exactly the same. And I'm just going to do like a line here to do a wing and just go to the center of my eyelid, like where my pupil is. And I'll fix that in a minute. I'm so bad at putting on liquid eyeliner on camera. It's really hard to talk into it. Then I'm just going to kind of fill in this area right here. Same on the other side. I'm going to be working out today, and I get pretty sweaty when I work out, so I'm going to use the Thrive Liquid Lash Extension Tubing Mascara. I really like this one. I like the Tarte XL Tubing Mascara, the more voluminous one in the gold tube instead of the lavender tube. And I also like the Caloray from, is this an offset of Urban Decay, I think? I'm not 100% sure. So I am gonna just apply some tubing mascara because no matter how sweaty I get, it won't go anywhere, and that's really good. When I use waterproof, I don't like tugging at my lashes to get it off, and this comes off so much easier with just warm water, and it also doesn't smudge at all. It's like incapable of smudging, so I love that. Speaking of working out, so I joined Pure Barre, as you guys know, in the middle of January, just to kind of deal with winter blues and get in better shape. And I am about to celebrate my 100th class next week. I'm at 93 or 94 today. So it's group fitness, and there's several different types of classes, and the choreography changes every couple of weeks, which keeps you excited about it and continues to challenge you. And it's a whole body workout every single time, but it's in 50 minutes. It's so effective. I can't believe I never looked into this sooner, except that I was never a group fitness person. I didn't like working out in groups, but I'm so glad I joined because the community is really awesome and encouraging. And I don't know, there's a feeling of like we're all in this together when you're in a class, like if we're working really hard and getting really sweaty. And it's just a really supportive, sweet group of ladies. And I've gotten to know some of them. When I first started going to Pure Barre, I'm just blending, I remember some of the ladies were like a step ahead of me. They were a step ahead of the instructors in some ways. Like they just could anticipate what was coming next and get into the right position. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think I'll ever get to that point. But I'm totally there now, where the choreography does change, but some of it stays the same. So you can get to a point where you're anticipating what will happen next, and you're right there with the instructor, which makes a big difference. You know, you're not like one step behind. And since I've gotten to that point, now I'm just working on like perfecting my technique to make sure I'm in exactly the right position every time. And it's a challenge, but it's definitely fun to try. And it's really important to set goals. I'm going to use this Rimmel. I think it's Rimmel. Yes, it's Rimmel. It's a waterproof eyeliner that's nude, and it reminds me a lot of the Tarte Fake Awake. And what it does is it really kind of brightens up your under eye like so. And if you're feeling tired or your eyes are looking a little tired, it adds a little bit of brightness there, and I really like that and kind of need that today. I'll tell you guys why. And now I'm going to use my favorite drugstore concealer. I've told you guys about this one, and it's the CoverGirl Outlast with the striped lid. It just makes my under eyes look so much better every time I use this. And I've said that before in my videos. I don't know what's in it, but several of you try it, and then you've come back to me and said, yes, you agree. You don't know what's in it, but it just seems to like firm the skin. And it might just be like a placebo effect, but I feel like ultimately it does kind of firm the skin. And maybe it's got, I don't know if it has like hyaluronic acid in it or peptides or what, but it just makes my under eye look so much better. And so I really like that. And then I'm gonna take the same brush. This is my Angie Hot and Blushy concealer brush that I love so much. And I'm gonna just dab this over it. Just dab, 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 just to set it. And I'm tired today because my daughter, she lives a couple of hours away. She went hiking yesterday in a state park with her friends, and they went on a pretty long hike. And while she was there, she lost her keys. They were on a lanyard. That's always like something my husband and I talk about. I'm gonna put another coat of mascara. Like, what if we lose our keys and we're like 8 miles out into the wilderness? You know, we always like are holding on to them extra close because that would be a nightmare situation. Well, last night, on Monday nights, my husband and I and my 2 sons have been having dinner together. Like, no matter what, we stop our plans and have dinner together on Monday nights because they have summer jobs and we all have different things going on. So it's like a night that we know we can all get together and enjoy a family dinner. So it was a little bit late yesterday, and it was like we ate between 7 and 8:30. And while we were eating, my daughter called my sons one by one to see if they could drive out to where she lives and bring her spare car key because she lost her keys in the woods. And in her car was all her stuff and her friend's stuff all locked up. So they were just completely locked out of her car, and she didn't have another key. So my sons both looked to see what they had going on that night, and they probably both could have done it, but they did have other plans. So she didn't call my husband because she was afraid that he would be mad, even though, I mean, he was annoyed. He wasn't mad because it's just like a stupid thing, I guess. It's kind of like, it can happen to anyone, but it's kind of like running out of gas in your car, right? Like, there are plenty of things you could do to avoid running out of gas. So anyways, there was like, we were all at a crossroads. My husband didn't want to go rescue her. He wanted her and her friend to drive all the way home and get the key, which would have been about 2.5 hours for them. My sons were busy, so I ended up going at like, we had them go back and look a little bit, not obviously as far into the trail as they were, to make sure that she didn't find it right after I left. And I ended up going out about 9:30, and I got back at 11:30 last night because I met her part way and she drove part way. So she drove a little bit further than I did. It took me about 1 hour and 45 minutes to get there and back. So yeah, I'm tired today. Anyway, I hope she learned something from it and that it won't ever happen again. Okay, now I'm gonna use L'Oreal Color Riche lipstick in 580, and I think it's called Peony Pink. And it looks like this. It's really pretty. It's a super pretty summer lipstick color. You know, I love my pinks, and I love L'Oreal Color Riche. I thought about using Spice from L'Oreal, but I feel like it would look a little more fall-like, so I wanted to use something a little more pink, like this. My hair down. And this is the finished look. I'll bring you in close. All drugstore makeup. I should tally up how much it all costs, but I know all this makeup would be like, I'm guessing around $60, maybe, depending on where you get it and if it's on sale or not. But you can get a full face of really beautiful makeup for about $60, or you can get one large Natasha Denona palette for like $65. So anyways, if you're looking to save some money, there's some beautiful drugstore makeup out there, and there's always sales going on either at Ulta or at your drugstore or at your superstore. And so that's a great place to go and look at different shades and colors and see what suits you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you here, and I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. I'll see you next time.